Hello folks, it's the Boneyard / YouTube channel and the Hillbilly Cooking Network. We're up here on the side of the mountain in the Kiamichi Mountains up behind my cabin. It's great here in any weather to me. It's overcast and cool today, but hot, cold, rain or snow, it doesn't matter to me. I love it any weather. But anyway, got lots of beautiful scenery. I'm sitting on the incline of the mountains like this. You can't tell it by the videos. The dog has followed me up here, of course. He's always curious, but these rocks and stuff, the color of them are beautiful. I like the gray and the green look to them. Going back down the mountain, like I said, you can't tell much about it, but it's and see where the dog's at right now. There's a little old cave there, a little hole. It's big enough for a couple dogs his size be in. So, you know, coyote, mountain lion, bobcat, anything could be using it. Something's been in there. I looked up in there when I first got to this spot, but I didn't get off in it, and I didn't look too deep because it might be something looking back. But anyway, but I got Jesus in my 45, so you know, we're okay. But hey, them critters just trying to make a living. They ain't bothering me, I ain't gonna bother them. But just wanted to show some of the beautiful scenery here. The dog's paying attention. Look at there, he's smelling the wind. See the rock ledges behind me? This is behind my cabin going up the mountain. This is north of my cabin, so going up the mountain is north. But yeah, it's a cool little cave there. Nothing major, no big cave. Not big enough for a bear, had to be a small bear. But anyhow, just up here enjoying the cool weather, the scenery. Like I said, hey, it's beautiful. I cannot beat the scenery. If I was Bigfoot, this is where I'd want to live. I'm telling you, I'd want to be right here. There's plenty of food, plenty of water, little springs that come out of these mountains. There's hidden water everywhere up in here. If you lived here, if you was Bigfoot, you'd know where to find it. But a lot of things came up here on the side of the mountain where I'm at. The cabin's down below. I can't see it from here, but get a little bit closer, you got a good view of what's going on. Anybody inside, outside. Big good squash TV, you know. You sit there and watch these humans. They're building a fire. Look at them, what are they doing? They got something kind of box with music coming out of it, you know. Yeah, and sometimes they may be drinking a little something. But anyway, they can look through the window, watch my television. I don't have a TV. I have a TV with some you know, DVDs. I don't have satellite or anything like that. That's why we come up here, is to disconnect and get away from all the technology. But hey, my cabin's got all conveniences at home. We run off a generator that's real quiet. Can't even tell it's running. Air conditioning, heat pump, you know, water pump, water well, refrigerator that stays cold all year long because it runs off propane full size. We're off grid. And we got it up here, no problem. We got everything you want, all the conveniences at home, but we're off on the side of the mountain. But anyway, away from people. No electrical lines coming to us. Leaves are starting to change a little bit, but there's still lots of greenery, as you can tell. Bear season has started. Deer season has started for archery just a few weeks ago. They've already killed several bear up here and deer. But a lot of our activity from most common folks, regular folks, won't call them Bigfoot, and that's fine. I refer to them as Bigfoot sometimes. Some of the Indians, indigenous people, call them the hairy people or the hairy man. Wild man, my granddad called it the wild man over in our part of Texas over there, because they didn't know nothing about no Bigfoot. But anyway, because they look like a man and they had hair all over them, so they call them wild man. That's why some of the Indians call him the hairy man, because he looks like a man, just got hair all over him. But anyway, a lot of things happen up the mountain behind the cabin. Everything from howls to sometimes at night something will slap the back of our cabin once or twice a year. usually when it's just me and my wife there. And normally it's either right at dusk or right after dark. And the first time, yeah, I go outside and I'm shining like, 'cause it shook the walls. It shook the walls, rattled the pictures. I go outside, shine a light, ain't nothing there, don't hear nothing running through the woods. And every time after that, when it slaps the cabin, wife asked me, "You gonna go out there and look?" No, ain't gonna be nothing there. Ain't gonna be nothing there. They done run off. But one lady that I'm acquainted with that lives up in this part of the mountains, and she calls it slap the cabin and run. It's a game they play. She said it does the same to her. But anyway, stuff like that. Before we built the cabin, my wife was out by the campfire. I was in the RV getting some food together because I like to cook. I was getting together to go on the campfire, fixing some steaks and wrapping up some sweet potatoes to put on the fire. Anyway, and she's sitting there, and it's right about dusk. It was this time of year, this mid-October. And I come back out, and she's up walking around looking at the ground around the campfire. She said a rock just came flying in from up the mountain. She said come like over my head, had her back to the mountain, looking at her phone, of course. That's like a lot of us do. But she, no cell service. She was looking at the game or something. But anyway, and a rock come overhead, just a small one, hit the ground on the other side of her. She's looking around. And we, you know, we hadn't had the property that long. Hadn't been able to get up to it because the driveway finally got built, and we'd been able to get up on it and actually stay and camp here for 3 or 4 months at that time. Because otherwise it was just hiking upside the mountain, you know, climbing up the mountain just wasn't going to happen. No, not on a regular basis. Now I did, but my wife said if you couldn't drive there, she wasn't staying. But anyway, and I don't blame her. But I've got the food on the fire and it's cooking, and we sit down around the fire. We're just enjoying the sound, what little bit of sound is going on, the light breeze blowing, and here comes another rock. Comes over past her and over by me, and just a little small rock, not very big, not much bigger than your finger, thumb. But and she don't move, I don't move. We're just sitting there, I'm looking at the fire and stuff. She said, "You see that?" I said, "Yeah, I seen that. I seen it." It's just little stuff like that. Now to throw a rock, you gotta have a hand. You know, you gotta be able to grab something. You gotta be able to throw it. Yeah, squirrels drop stuff on people, or they say they throw things. But you know, we're after dark. It's getting dark. Ain't no squirrels throwing rocks at us, I promise you. But anyway, and if you ever been here, this is all. It's hard to get to. If you're not coming up our driveway to get here, it's very difficult. So if somebody want to play a prank on you, not to mention you're risking getting shot if you jack on people up in these mountains just trying to scare them or make them think it's Bigfoot, you get shot. You know, I just leave them alone. I don't bother them. I hang out. I know they're around. They let me know they're here. I leave a little something for them every now and then, some apples, something like that, out in a certain area up there on the mountain spot that I leave all the time. But other than that, you know, if they're passing through, they might slap a cabin, throw something, say, "Hey, we're around." Okay, cool. You know, we're here. We know you're there. No problem. But just things like that. In our camper one night, I don't know, it was probably 1 o'clock in the morning. We had been over to a friend's house up here in the mountains, Scott Boykin. Been over to his house and come home, laying in the camper. There's a window on both sides of the bed in the camper. Light on right above her, she's reading a book. I'm trying to go to sleep. Now her side of the camper, I got a blanket over the blinds where even when the sun comes up, it ain't gonna shine through, because she likes to sleep late sometimes. Ain't no problem. My side, going up the mountainside, curtains are open, blinds are drawn, you know, the little Venetian blinds are shut, but you can see the light on from outside when those are shut. But anyway, I'm about to doze off, and a rock hits the window on my side. I'm telling you, you can tell the difference between a bug tapping on something or a rock. Rock hits it, doesn't break it, but and I'm almost asleep, and that wakes me up. I sit up. Did you hear that? She said, yeah, I heard that. Sounded like a rock hit the window. Okay. You gonna go outside and look? No, I ain't gonna go outside and look. I just lay back down, go back to sleep. Yeah, just I don't have to go look. But that's a few of the little rock throwing incidents. Whenever our cabin was going to be built, my contractor came up here and stayed in his camper for 6 months. He had a little old camping trailer. He parked it in front of mine, and Ronnie Wilson did an awesome job building my cabin. Appreciate him, Red. But did a good job. But him and one of his sons was here the day they came up, and they unloaded all the iron. My cabin's got steel structure, I-beam, C-beam, steel frame, and then wood wrapped. But anyway, it's like a steel building, but you can't tell by looking at it. But anyway, unloaded all the steel and iron right in the middle of where the cabin's gonna be built. There's no trees around it. It's an open area right there. And they have unloaded that iron and steel, and there's a pile of it out there in the open. We're sitting over here by campfire. Hadn't built a fire because it's a little bit warm. It was like the first part of September. But anyway, dusky dark, just getting on where you can't hardly see. And we're sitting there talking, me and my wife, Ronnie, his son. And a rock hits that steel that comes from up the mountain, and you hear ping, hits that metal. And Red and his boy looked at each other, and they said, a rock hit that steel. That was a rock. And Karen looks at me, and I just look up there. I said, man, them stars sure are pretty tonight. Look at there. They're all coming out real bright. This is gonna be a gorgeous night. Yeah. I'm changing subject. We go to bed, and they talk about it a little bit there and discuss it, and then we start talking about other things and move on. But anyway, we go to bed, and my wife Karen, she says, when are you gonna tell them, you know, the strange things happen around here sometimes? I said, listen, I need my cabin built. I don't want to spook nobody or have nobody change their mind. This thing ain't even got going yet. I said that let's get this thing going before we start talking about things that happen. I said I don't want to spook nobody, run nobody off. But anyway, so probably 30 days into it, you know, he's up there by himself mostly, and Red tells me one night, he says something strange up there around your cabin. That's what you mean? He said, that's just something strange. He said, sometimes I hear noises, sounds I've never heard before. And at that time, he was 67, I think. He said, you know, Ron, Red, he ain't scared of nothing. He's not. He's a tough dude. But he said, there's noises out there sometimes. Some things that I can't explain, things I hear. And we'll tell some more of them stories too later on. But I said, well, when you hear these strange sounds, does it bother you or anything, or what do you do? He said, I just put it around in my 45 and put it under my pillow and go to sleep. He said, I ain't worried about it. He said, there's some strange stuff up here though. Anyway, and some other things as we go on, I'll tell some more stories about what he encountered when I wasn't around, and some things that I encountered that coordinate with things he encountered. But anyway, more stories. Anyway, Jesus in a 45, that's all you need to survive in this life. Jesus in a 45. There's your 45. Jesus. If you ain't got my book, get it. The Boys, the Boneyard Slash. If you get it, read it. If you read it, don't judge me. Jesus in the 45. It's a good world, people. It's a good world. Lots of crazy stuff happening, but hey, we're going to make it through. It's all going to be okay. Be thankful for what you got, whether it's a spot in the backyard or a place on the side of a mountain. I'm thankful for the big and small of everything. Talk to you later. More stories coming on the Bigfoot end. They get more interesting too, promise.